too.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me this afternoon.
Thank you for talking and having us.
So first I would like to talk about the new album. And what was the process like for you? How it start?
It started when we were on Warp Tour. Last summer. John started writing songs. It usually starts with him. He'll come up with like a basic idea or something, and then he'll send it our way. But this time he did a lot of stuff on the computer and added like fake drums and electric guitars and stuff that he normally wouldn't do. So it gave us more of a clear idea of where his head was at. And then we all met up after that Warp Tour and sat in the room and started hashing it out.
Yeah. And I think when we first kind of started working on the songs, it seems like they kind of are what they're going to be a bit. They were so well put together, and then when we go back and listen to the initial demo versus what's on the record, it's like everything completely changed.
Totally.
So I think that's just kind of happens no matter what we do, whether the song begins in a really basic form or it begins in more of a fleshed out.
Well, and it can happen right before you're finished recording. The song Taxi, it was basically the idea, but we had finished a version of it recorded, and then we thought it didn't have a certain element to it that made it more interesting, and then we just scrapped it all. We scrapped it all and then just redid it, and so things like that can happen too, which is pretty weird.
So it can be last minute or very planned out, and still can change.
Well, and how did the name Lovely Little Lonely came up?
It's a name that John had for a while. Actually, he put out John the Ghost, a book that he did, and he had it written for a poem in there. And then he kind of turned that into a song, which was kind of supposed to be the title track and the opening for the album. So we were all kind of basing it around that song, and then the song ended up not making it on the record.
So therefore, I think the essence of that song continued on in the other songs of the record. So.
And what track from the album would you say that best represents your current moment in your career?
I'd say Black Butterflies.
Yeah.
And Deja Vu kind of has elements of what the whole album does, all in one song.
We were all kind of in agreement right after finishing recording that was the one that kind of captured everything.
And you guys are here for the third time, I guess?
It's the fifth time, yeah.
Fifth time?
Yeah.
And which has been the most remarkable memory you've had so far?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
every
always just so wild.
Here,
we just get so much love here that is shown more so than a lot of other places in the world, and so it's just always this overwhelming great feeling that we get coming here. So it's kind of they kind of mesh together a little bit in my mind, but it's always just pure excitement.
And this time you guys are going to play at a bigger stage, and how do you feel about that?
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
We haven't played this stage here, so.
Yeah, we're going to a bunch of new places for the first time too. So yeah, we're excited about that.
Yeah.
That's great. And was this new album more challenging in any way than the previous ones?
I would say
so.
Yeah.
It was pretty. It was pretty tough,
especially compared to the last one. The last one was pretty easy, and this one was more of a challenge. Yeah. I think that probably just came from maybe us having a little more clear idea of what we wanted it to be. So things that didn't fit within that mold, we didn't keep. So it was kind of a challenge to have enough songs that we felt were up to par with what we wanted it to be.
Well, and coming up with what the original idea is was pretty hard. This is what we want it to be. It's easy to talk and think you all are on the same page, but as soon as it starts, you have to actually
get there.
It can be pretty challenging.
You guys have been a band for 10 years now, and is there something you still want to accomplish in music? What is your biggest dream?
Be the first band to play on the moon is like definitely up there. That's been up there for years. And if we don't do that, then we failed, and we're gonna die unhappy.
Never be happy again. And,
I think.
Wait, that's
that's more.
I just think like doing this for a long time is the goal, and like to build a catalog of music over time. So, I don't know if there's necessarily one like specific goal. It's more so just like to be able to create for a long period of time and continue to build on what we've done. So.
And after putting out like 6 albums, what is the secret to the secret ingredient to a good the Maine song? Like, if you guys could describe your music.
I mean, the vocal melodies, I think to me is like always the most exciting thing in a song. I think that's I think what sets our band apart from other bands. Like, I think John has a unique voice that from the second that I heard him sing for the first time, there's like these tendencies that he has that I think have continued over until now, and you could hear it from even when he was doing a cover song of a different band or something. It was like there's something there. So I think that's why we've been able to do so many different types of records. I think every record we've made has varied in all these different directions, and that's kind of his voice and tendencies that he does with words and melody and stuff is what's made it, no matter what, is one of our songs.
And finally, to finish, what are your future plans? Like after the tour, if you guys want to put out a new album, still what?
Yeah, well, we're gonna do a tour right after this one where we play American Candy and Love Little Lonely in full. So that's kind of like the next adventure is trying to figure out how to perform the 2 albums and make them feel like a cohesive thing. So yeah, we're just excited about that. And then we'll make a record at some point.
We'd love to make more music in the future, but yeah definitely touring on this is the current goal.
Yeah. How do you guys prepare before the tour? Like, is there anything you do before the show?
It's just like group stretching and like
we like to make out.
Yeah, we make out a little bit.
Sometimes while stretching.
Do a little sweat yoga, hot yoga, massages.
No, yeah, I mean, there's not much. I mean, we feel like when like we're rehearsing for the tour and making the set list and everything, it's like we kind of get all the preparation done then. So then by the time it actually comes to the day of the show, it's just kind of
more natural.
Go up and play. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.